lot of people who think, okay, in long term, everything will be automated. What will I do then?
That's a big question, Yarishan, and a very important one, because the truth is anything that can be consumed and boiled down to an algorithm will be boiled down to an algorithm. And there is no doubt about that. And that means all the tasks that are repetitive, all the tasks that are quantifiable, all the tasks that are predictable will eventually get automated. But that also means that it opens up two new opportunities, which is how the world will have to orchestrate itself towards. One is if there is an algorithm behind the automation and there is a machine behind the automation, someone will have to work with them to make them the
Yeah.
smart machines that they are. Artificial intelligence does not mean that it grows on its own. Someone builds it. And it's a very misunderstood thing कि artificial intelligence are like these Armageddon movies या Matrix पूरा control ले लेगा. None of that. We're far away from that. It is very simply someone training the algorithm, the machine, to become smart, and then it can compute faster than the human mind can. Simple as that. So one is that. Two, then the overemphasis on any role or any job or any function that involves judgment becomes far more important. And that is where I feel humans will spend a lot more time. So what's going to happen, and this is just my prediction, that in the next 20, 30, 40 years, there will be so much of wealth created because of automation and efficiency that wealth will begin to get distributed equally amongst people. I don't think that there will be this inequality that we see, whether it's a minimum support livelihood or anything else that comes in. So there will actually be a lot of boredom that will come in because people will now get money for just existing, not doing anything. And the difference then between the ones who move the world forward and the ones who just keep consuming will be the difference between who applies their judgment to go about doing things that only the human mind can right now. Jobs that require empathy, jobs that require understanding human psychology, jobs that require understanding human emotions, jobs that require the machines to have the capability to, in some way, reflect human decisions. All of those are going to get more and more meaningful. And there will be an ecosystem that will be built around it. So I don't think it's all doomsday as people will make it out to be. But I also feel that it is now going to be even more the prerogative of every individual to upskill themselves. कोई अब स्कूल और कॉलेज नहीं खोलेगा इसके लिए. बहुत क्लियर हो चुका है कि दुनिया इतनी खुली हो गई है कि लोग बोलेंगे कि आपके पास वो हर एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है जिससे आप कुछ भी नया सीख सकते हैं जब भी आप चाहते हैं. कोई आपको अब सिखाएगा नहीं क्योंकि हमें खुद ही नहीं पता कि क्या सीखना है. इतनी तेजी से दुनिया बदल रही है. देयर इज नो करिकुलम दैट कैन अडहेयर टू इट. तो आप या तो मिनिमम इनकम लेके आराम से घर पे बैठिए और खुशी से रहिए, या अगर आप लाइफ में ज्यादा कुछ करना चाहते हैं तो अपने आप को स्किल करके go out and create a world that is driven by your judgment and your human nature. So I feel that that is going to be the hard career choice that people make in the next 20
So
years.
now, so basically, what you're saying is self-learning will become the most important task than whatever
I
curriculums
think
and whatever education is teaching us.
the only thing, Ishan, and that's a very important point you make. I feel that the only purpose of school and college from now on should be to teach us how to be a student for life. अगर हमें ना सीखना आता है तो हम कुछ भी सीख सकते हैं. अनफॉर्चुनेटली स्कूल आज की दुनिया में सीखना सिखाता नहीं है, सीखने को मार देता है. It just literally nips it from its bud और like, तुम क्या सीखोगे, यही आंसर है, यही सवाल है और इसी के मैच पे तुम्हें नंबर मिलेंगे वरना तुम फेल हो. तो it's like the exact opposite. And I really feel that people are going to live for 100 plus years. They will have multiple careers, they will have multiple lives, they will have multiple avatars. And the only way that people will then be happy and fulfilled is if they completely change themselves every 10 to 20 years. And that is not going to happen through a defined curriculum in a college. It's just going to happen because you have what it takes to become a student whenever you have to, whenever you need to.
Makes sense. So, question to you, Shraddha. There are a lot of you interact with a lot of tech companies, a lot of founders. How do you see that what Ankur is saying? People are kind of trying to build companies around it. There are people are building startups around it. How are new startups going to help in the changing the scene of learning, basically?
Just talking in terms of uh, edtech startups or overall startups?
It can be ad tech, it can be attitude, right? In the end of the day, it's what attitude that matters, that everybody should start thinking about learning. And in the end, job creation in the so that people are relevant in long term.
Yeah, so I'll take from what Ankur has said. First of all, Ishan, I want to say that one of the best talks that I had heard on this is what Naval Ravikant said, that this whole debate that AI is going to take jobs and all that. He said that it's like the Cassandra effect, and I thought it was very powerful that he said that in our lifetime for the next 50, 100 years, it's we're going to see pattern AI and we are not going to see general AI. तो हमारे दिमाग को कोई नहीं ले सकता है. And what he's saying is that the normal automation हो जाएगा तो अच्छा है, because none of us should do basic job today. We are very elitist, but airport पे जाओ अगर, तो जो आपके counter पे who keeps on giving you tickets, right? That's such a back breaking, and nobody should work, right? When we are in Maslow hierarchy looking at creative satisfaction and intellectual satisfaction, why should young people do that job or a BPO job? एक तरह से वो अगर वो jobs जा रहे हैं तो नए jobs आएंगे, and history is proof to that, right? We are here because every time something was taken over, when industrial revolution came, सारे agriculture और जो भी जितने job थे वो चले गए, right? But something new comes, and I think this is going to be a world of creativity, and the more creative brains that you can use. See, today the discussion we are having, someone has built this platform that we are interacting and we are chatting. There are so many, media has completely disintermediated. Today everyone is today making money and can do something, sell something. There's so many new things coming, and I think as long as what Ankur said, I believe in that you're constantly questioning and challenging that, am I ready with the headwind which is coming or the tailwind which is coming? Am I ready to deal with both? And what does that mean? It means that constantly upgrading your own. Are you a full stack player in your own body and mind and soul? And can you improve the game in terms of, are you creatively, ready to take on whatever comes? And I think that will be the focus. Are we ready, or are we going to? Because we will only, not AI, but we will become, redundant if we don't upgrade our own system. And for that, I would say that startups will play. I am a huge believer that startups are going to define not just the world or whatever, but in India, our growth, and especially in our country where the job is a huge issue. Let's not ignore that every year 20 million people get into the job market, engineers. We have huge job issue in our country. Yes, startups will play a crucial role, and I think it comes back to somewhere two things which we lack as a country. Our productivity, we are not a very productive country. So अगर हमारा productivity ठीक हो तो SME ठीक होगा, सब चीज ठीक होगा, और overall GDP ठीक होगा. So startups which address that productivity issue. And second thing is upgradation of skills. Yes, like Ankur said, of course we have to, and we have to upgrade ourselves, but someone who can enable that in a frictionless manner will create, and of course tech will play a huge role. So yeah, so I think I'm a firm believer that startups will define what will happen in the next few years in our country.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing. Please read the risk disclosure documents carefully before investing in equity shares, derivatives, mutual fund, and or other instruments traded on the stock exchanges.